Good evening. We're just waiting for a few people. We're just waiting. The link is unlisted. Does anyone know how I can change that to public so that people can join in? I think I haven't found the setting. Okay, think I figured that out. Good evening. While we're waiting, I've put up a little poll. You might see it in your chat screen. I would love if you let me know. Pick one of those and let me know. We're just going to wait for 1 minute. All right. Should we get started? Hopefully. It's public now and people can join in, I hope. All right. Good evening. Okay, to start off, my name is Simrun Chopra and I'm a deep health coach. I'm a fitness and nutritional specialist. We're here today because a lot of you have been talking about bloating and how it is something that you're all dealing with. So I decided to do this as a very small curated event for inner circle, which means that very few people were given access to this. The numbers are not going to be a lot, but what that means is that you can ask more questions. Now, just to make sure that we stay on track and we don't digress, make sure all your questions are related to bloating or digestion, which are relevant to the topic today. All right. And if you have questions about anything else, you can head over to my website, which is nourishwithsim.com, and we have a WhatsApp chat on there. All you have to do is drop us a message. It's Saturday evening, but give me till Monday to reply. I usually try to stay away on Sundays. All right. Now, hello to everybody on here. If you can, go ahead and enter that poll and we will get started. Now, you're probably here because you suffer from bloating. You wouldn't be here. However, today we are going to cover three aspects. All right. The lifestyle causes, the digestive causes, and any medical issues that might be causing this for you. So I suggest that you get a pen and paper because I'm going to go through a lot of information really, really quickly, and you can put this down because this is something that will apply whether it's to you, your child, your parent, your spouse. You can use these techniques for everyone. This because as much as we are different, we are a lot alike, right? So the human body works in a certain way. So we are going to today cover what is common to all of us. Now, if you fall into a category which is an outlier, like outside this, send us a message on WhatsApp. All right. Now, to get started, we are going to talk. Let's start with the first part, which is lifestyle causes. Now, most of us think that when first of all, do all of you know what and how to see bloating or to decide whether it's bloating or it's something else? You can put it in the chat for me. All right. But I'm going to tell you what it looks like. So in the poll, I've put in what bloating can show up as. It can show up as being swollen all over, which means that if you press down on, usually if you do it near your ankle or some or anywhere, and you press down and release, if it bounces back, you're not bloated or you don't have water retention. If you wake up with a puffy face, that could be bloating or water retention, right? If you have a lot of joint pains, you feel fatigued through the day, it could be also signs of water retention which lead to bloating, right? So today, the first one, let's talk about the lifestyle issues that cause this. Now, for most people, or all of everyone needs to do this, but for most people, fixing the simplest lifestyle issues will fix your problem. Most of the time there's nothing else wrong with you. So let's start with what is the most basic, and I would say these are the golden rules. Okay, now what causes bloating? Let's talk about the two main aspects. The first one is, everyone thinks we are about what we eat. So if you eat healthy, you are healthy. However, this is wrong. We are what we eat, what we digest, and what we absorb. Okay. I'm just going to keep an eye on the chats as well so that I can include your sort of suggestions while I'm talking. Okay. So what we eat, what we digest, what we absorb. Now, when we come to what we eat, have you ever had days where you have woken up and you've taken your weight and it's like 2 kilos more, then a little bit later it's even higher, and the next day it's lower and it rises again and it drops again? Multiple fluctuations. Now, these are caused by what we call water retention, which has multiple causes. Let's talk about them one by one, and you can write these down so that you make sure that you can eliminate them. You can do this today. It requires little to no effort. The first one is when we are dehydrated. What this means is when you drink too little water, the body wants to retain water to stay hydrated. So you'll feel puffier because you're retaining more water. How to know if you're dehydrated? When you go to the loo, when you go to pee, and if it is yellow or dark yellow, you are dehydrated and you need to drink more water. It is as simple as that. However, there are other things that cause dehydration. This includes eating very salty foods or basically foods very high in sodium. Now, a lot of times we are told that you must reduce salt, but what you need to reduce is sodium. Okay, now this is usually hidden sodium. So you're thinking packaged food, chips, even things like cornflakes and stuff that is sweet. But when you turn it over, you will find very high amounts of sodium in it. Now, if you eat foods that are high in sodium, your body will retain water. If you eat very oily foods, let's say you eat in bhajis or something deep fried, your body will retain water. Okay. And if you've had a very carb dense day, which means, for example, dinner was only, let's say, a margarita pizza, there was not enough protein, there were not enough vegetables. Okay, your body will now retain water. So all these in turn will show up the next day where you will feel puffier and you will probably weigh a little bit more. This is not real weight gain. Okay. This is just, very simply put, water retention. So all you need to do, okay, drink more water. Try to reduce the amount of salt intake in your food, usually the hidden salt. So think everything from sauces, dips, preserved food, even packaged soup, right? Reduce the salt, increase the water. Try to make sure that your meals have a balance of protein, vegetables, and carbohydrates to start off with. Okay, so that's the first. Now, when we said it is what we eat, but it's also how we eat, which is very, very important. And I see someone put in severe acidity as well. All right, so let's talk about how we eat. When we eat anything, when we start chewing, we release amylase, which is a kind of enzyme in the mouth that itself starts the digestion process. Now, when you eat very fast or you swallow very quickly, which means that you've not chewed your food very well, you're kind of bypassing the first level of digestion, which is helping break down the food. So we break it down when we are chewing. That's why we have the kind of teeth we have. It goes into our stomach where the chyme or the all the different stomach acids are then trying to break down the food further. Now, if you have large chunks coming in, it is harder for the stomach to break it down because that was the purpose of the teeth and chewing. All right. This, when that happens, the body is struggling. You will automatically see that you're a little bit more bloated. It will also cause acidity, Shamla. It will also cause acidity. All right. So, the first thing to do is when you're eating your food, ideally sit down, eat without distraction, right? Eat slowly and chew your food well. So there's no like you have to chew 20 times, 30 times. No, just make sure you chew it well to like a paste consistency and not swallowing it. Most people, especially when you're eating white rice, you are going to be swallowing this, right? So you're chewing slowly, eating slowly, chewing while chewing slowly, and then digesting it. Now, when you're doing this, I want you to look out for three to four things here. All right. One, try to eat till you are just about full. All right. Not too full. So you shouldn't feel, when you say, oh my God, I'm so stuffed, I need to open my pant. Not like that. Eat till when you feel like, oh, I could eat a little bit more, but it's okay. One. Two, avoid drinking too many liquids with your food. So if you have to, drink your water before, drink very small sips while you're eating, and try to avoid for 30, 40 minutes after. All right. So that's two. Got one, two, and three is make sure that you're chewing really well. Now, what this is going to do, it allows your body to break down the food and digest it better. When it digests better, your bloating is less. Okay, so there's less gas being produced, there's less flatulence, and you will feel much better. Now, coming back to acidity, as Shamna brought up right here. When you eat too much, when I'm saying you eat a little bit less, it's because our stomach, when you eat, you have a tube going down and then it enters the stomach. At that point, there's like think of it like a door. It's called a sphincter. So the door kind of, okay, can you see that? Yeah. So the door kind of opens, food goes in, yeah, and it shuts. Now, what happens is when you overeat, or if, let's say, even if you've had a lot of liquids, when the stomach is very, very full, there's pressure on the sphincter and it might open the other way because of the pressure coming from the food, and it comes back up as acidity and GERD, where you get sour burps as well. Has it ever happened to any of you? Okay, so just a simple strategy of eating slowly and eating till you are not completely full, just these two will help you solve most of your bloating and acidity problems. All right, so we are what we eat and how we eat. Now I want to bring At the end of this, we'll go over what you should eat and what are the good things to eat and what are the things to avoid, right? But in terms of lifestyle, these are the primary sort of causes. Now, you know that you're not. Now comes the third one, which would the second one. We're talking about how we digest food. This probably is one of the most important ones because if phase one or level one, which is just eating slowly, eating till you're satisfied, and does not work for you, then it might be a digestive issue. Now, when you're thinking of digestive issues, I want you to think. Most people will jump to think, "Oh, I have a problem." You might not. Let's think. Do you have constant bloating? Bloating after eating? Do you have flatulence? Do you have burping? These are the things to look out for. Do you have discomfort after eating? After eating, is your stomach so bloated and hard? Not soft, but really hard and uncomfortable. Do any of you face that? Just put it in the chat. Do any of you feel face discomfort? Okay, Molika, thanks, Annie. So Molika has discomfort as well. All right. When we come to digestion, we're going to talk about a few aspects here, but some of the simplest ones are okay. What is the difference? We're talking now about bloating is a result of an issue that could either be lifestyle related of how you're eating, it could be digestive related, that means you have a problem with your digestion, or it can be medically based. The lifestyle is usually the easiest and is the first level of defense and is something that everyone should do. Now, when it comes to digestion, now flatulence will usually come with something. I'm sorry, it says Gawker, Gakr, asked the difference between flatulence and bloating. Now, it usually comes, it might come together. If you have flatulence as well, the chance, and you have acidity, the chances are you've not digested something properly. Now, under digestion is how we digest and other issues that you could be having. All right. Now, let's talk about digestion when we eat too much, when we eat too oily foods, too salty, right, or we eat foods that don't have enough fiber and probiotics, what happens is we kind of start killing our gut microbiome or the good gut microbiome. If the body has difficulty in digesting the food that you have eaten, it will cause bloating, it will cause flatulence, it will cause discomfort. All right. Now, the symptoms can range from stomach pain, gas, cramps, vomiting, nausea, heartburn, diarrhea, headaches, irritability, anxiousness as well. So it is not limited to just feeling bloated. If you start feeling any of these other things as well, this is a digestive issue now. All right. When we talk about digestive issues, we have to talk about a number of things that happen here. Why? One, it would be what you're eating, when you're eating, how you're eating. The how we've already covered. The when makes a huge difference because usually, if I think, like Annie said, if you're on a program, you'll see for most people, we try to spread the meals out to prevent this from happening, where we allow for enough time for digestion and allow for enough time to get in your new meal and to balance your blood sugar levels. What you need to do here is ideally, when you wake up, have a glass of water, have a small breakfast. That's small is subjective to the person. All right. So till you're satisfied and you break up your meals slowly. If the gap is too much, you will overeat, you will have acidity. So the idea is to do breakfast, maybe a snack, depending on how much gap you have between breakfast and lunch, do a snack and dinner. If you're very large gap between lunch and dinner, you can do two snacks as well, right? It really depends on each person. There are certain things that are ideally I would love to probably, if you were suffering with this, I would love to see your plate and look at it and tell you whether you should make a certain change, or you should keep it away, or make add something or reduce something. So that's what we do on the programs, that I encourage people to send in their plates so we can look at it, and then we can tell you to add something, delete something, or remove something. Okay. So that is something to keep in. Sorry, I was reading the chats. I'm sorry. Okay. So we break up the meals to basically ensure that you're feeling a little bit, the digestion is a little bit better. Now, if you have pain, body pain that comes with this, you're moving into a segment that says that you might have intolerances. Now, this is probably one of the most important things to think about. If you have tried to eat slowly, if you have tried to eat a little bit less, you've broken up your meals into, let's say, 4 or 5 meals across the day, and you're making sure that you're not that you have reduced the amount of salt, you've reduced the amount of fried food, and you still have these issues. And if you have flatulence, if you have cramps, you might have an intolerance. Now, intolerance, I would say, again, comes in the digestive section. It is probably the most important. First of all, what's the difference between an allergy and a intolerance? Most people will say, I'm allergic to milk, I'm allergic to brinjal. It's very important to understand the difference. An allergy is something where you eat even a small amount of that food can will cause an instant reaction and can be life threatening. All right. Think of people with peanut allergies who swell up, need an EpiPen immediately, or seafood allergies. Now, in an allergy, you will have an instant reaction and can be life threatening. All right. You're not supposed to eat foods that you are allergic to. An intolerance, however, is completely different. And in an intolerance, your body has difficulty digesting certain amounts of certain foods. So, for example, if they say if you're lactose intolerant, which is dairy, right? If you have a little bit of ghee, or let's say you had a little milk in your tea, nothing happens to you. But if you have a milkshake, you start feeling sick. In an intolerance, the amount of the food makes a huge difference. If you have something you're intolerant to, you're not going to get very sick, or you're not going to have a life threatening reaction. However, if you continue to have things that you are intolerant to, in our intestine, we have, think of a toothbrush, right, with all the bristles. So we have like these multiple bristles along the sides of our intestine. What they do is, as the food goes past, they absorb nutrients, the bristles. Every time you have food that you're intolerant to or that is not good for you, one, you start killing the good microbiomes. Second, it starts eroding the what we call the brush border. Okay, so it starts eroding. Now, when it starts eroding over time, you cannot fix this. There's no reversing it. Over time, your body is absorbing less nutrients from the same food. Coming back to it is what we eat, digest, and absorb. So you will start absorbing less nutrients from the same food. A very healthy human being will probably absorb 80 to 90% of the nutrients from their food. But the worse your gut microbiome and the worse your brush border gets, you absorb lower and lower, which is why people who are above 50, 60, the entire dietary protocol needs to change, because they are absorbing very differently because of all the wear and tear. All right. Can food tolerances be a cause? All right. I will come back to the questions because they're coming in. Mm. If you have an intolerance, that food should ideally be removed or had in very small quantities, very little. Otherwise, you're doing a lot of long term damage very slowly. It's a bit like picking away at something, like a small wound. You pick away, pick away, pick away, it becomes worse and worse and worse, and then there's no going back. Now, this is what I want you to think about. How do you find your intolerance? Intolerances are specific to each person. They are not genetic, which means that you might not have been born with it, might not have had it when you were small. You can develop an intolerance anytime in your life, just like you can develop an allergy. So it could be that you were not allergic or intolerant to seafood and suddenly you are. All right. So assume, when you start out on this journey to find what works for you, I want you to assume that you know nothing and you are out on a discovery or a journey with your own body. All right. How to find your intolerance? Ideally, I would like you to have what we call what what I like to call tracking, food journaling, to create an elimination protocol. Now, while this is more complicated in the larger genre, let's look at the very basic version. All you do is get a journal or a book or a notepad, any one thing. And I want you to start writing down everything you eat. Now, if you want the program, like someone said, already you're sending us pictures. So we have all the data that we can look at. But if you're not doing that, just in a book, start writing down breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever you ate. Take 5 minutes at the end of the day, write down every little thing, which means that even if you had a bite from your son's plate or your daughter's plate or from auntie's plate, or you were walking past the kitchen and you tasted something, write it down. Then write down your symptoms. Here, don't only write down the negatives. Most people will just write down, oh, today I was feeling bloated. No, I want you to write down when you were not feeling bloated, when you were feeling great as well. So you write down all your symptoms. Now, coming back, your symptoms could be bloating, flatulence, stomach cramps, headaches, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, just slightly loose stools. It could be just feeling more anxious, fatigue, nauseous. Start writing them down. Okay, and days you're feeling great, write down was feeling great. All right, you will see that you will build a diary. It's what I call a food and symptom diary, or a food and feeling diary. And when you start building it out, you will find patterns. Okay, so if you find that today you're feeling very nauseous after eating something, or you have very bad stomach cramps, you go back into your diary and look for the previous one where you've written stomach cramps, and you find what's common, and you will find what your intolerance is. This is extremely crucial because, for example, I've had clients where one person is intolerant of lactose, but someone was intolerant of brinjal and someone was intolerant of bananas. Now, there is no way to find this unless you pay attention and listen to your own body. All right. So, a food and symptom, or a food and feeling journal, is what I want you to start off with. If you have a child or a parent that you're doing this for, do exactly the same thing. Start maintaining a diary, all right, till you find what doesn't work for you, and then just remove it. That's all you need to do. So that's the difference between a food intolerance and an allergy. If you have an allergy, to summarize, you have to stop eating that food. If you have an intolerance, reduce it as much as possible. For example, I'm intolerant to lactose and gluten. So if I'm eating, I don't, that's why you never see my plates with rotis and chapatis. I don't like it, and it doesn't do me very good. But there are some times that I want to eat that aloo paratha, or I want to eat that gobi paratha, and I know I'm intolerant, but I'll eat a small amount. But I'm aware of it, and it is done once in a while because of the long term damage that it can cause me. All right. Now, so we've covered how we eat, we've covered the basic digestive issues, and I'm going to quickly go over the questions till now, because now we'll cover sort of the other issues that can cause this. Give me a second while I quickly scroll through this. Um, Acidity. Um, all right. All right. For all the other questions that I hear about weight loss, fat loss, irregular periods, um, I would suggest that you take those to you go to my website nourishwithsim.com, and there is a WhatsApp chat there. Go in and just enter your questions there, or you can DM me. The DMs do take longer on Instagram because I just need to get to it, but we will get back to you on that. So today is just um, the more just focusing on bloating and digestion today. All right. So I'm going to go over the third aspect of it now, and then I'm going to tell you how to build a strategy for yourself, how foods that are good for you and the foods to avoid. So sort of like a little cheat sheet that you can use. All right. And the fact that you're here today, and that you took the time out to come, that itself means a lot. And it was a very small group. So right on the top, I've put in a link that will give you till tonight only a 10% off on any of the programs. Unfortunately, it's only available to people who signed up and who are here. All right. It's just like a sort of token from me to you. And I hope you like it. Now, the third section. Let's say you have tried eating slowly, you've tried changing your meals, changing the timings, making sure there's not too much water or liquids during the meal, eating till you're like satisfied, not stuffed, okay, and you have found your intolerances, yet you find that you're waking up bloated, or your stomach is feeling bloated when you wake up, you have severe water retention even though your urine is running clear, you have severe water retention when you press down into your skin and it's not bouncing back. So basically you've done the basic strategies which are lifestyle and very quick to fix, but you still have these issues. Then what? Now, there are things that are outside of lifestyle that can cause these, and they are indicators of problems that are slightly larger. However, don't even assume that you have any of these unless you tried the first two, because there is no indication that you have it unless you've tried the first two. And then, two, it is just maybe going to your doctor and saying, hey, I would like to check this out. Now, the most common ones are PCOS, thyroid. Thyroid causes insane amount of water retention. Okay, pregnancy, periods, and inflammation of the body are some of the most common causes apart. And then there are slightly more medical issues like edema, but they will be very severe. You will know automatically it's not regular bloating. All right. The other one that I want to bring to your notice is oral contraceptive pills and self medication, right? So when you're self medicating, I'm just having a headache and I'll have this, or I have a stomach ache and last time my doctor said this, and you'll have it. So medication which is not regulated by a doctor can also cause lots of damage, lots of digestive issues, which in turn cause multiple problems. All right, there are some more. Okay, so the other one is like Alona Devnath has said, Alpona. All right, there are a few, very few vitamins deficiencies that can cause these symptoms as well. So I would recommend that you go check your B vitamins and your D. D3 is a test that you have to request for separately. It's slightly expensive, but it is a must check. All right. So these issues, if you have thyroid, if you have PCOS, which are the most common, they are very, very easy to fix, but you still need to see a doctor. If you have any, if you have pain, cramps, vomiting every time, nausea, you have to go see a doctor. One of the most common and overlooked causes is anxiety and stress, which come under mental health, and it is something that you need to go see a therapist for. Just to reiterate, your body, your gut is connected to your brain, so it's all going to go together. All right. However, don't get worried if you've tried everything and you still have symptoms, you just have to go to a doctor and it's completely quick to fix. All right. Now let's talk about, let's say you've had, where we started, you've been eating like crazy, there was festival time, you've been eating, you've overeaten, and you're looking for a detox, correct? This is what happens all the time. Now, you can't detox your body with food, because that's the job of the liver and the entire digestive tract. And if your liver is not working, we should be in the hospital, right? So you don't need to drink, eat anything. There's nothing that can detox the body. There's no toxins that we remove. The kidneys and your liver is doing that all the time. However, what we're going to do today is I'm going to give you kind of what I like to call a cheat sheet. Yeah, which will help you. And now or any time that, let's say, you had an indulgent week, to just move to that for a few days. I actually would recommend eating like that all the time, but move to it for a few days and you will see an instant shift. Okay. Whether it is you have been drinking too much alcohol, you've been eating too much, or just been eating out a lot, this is what you can try. Right. So the foods to eat, ideally wake up in the morning, grab a glass of water. All right. Now, a lot of people will be adding lime to it is great because you're giving yourself a boost of vitamin C, but if you're in a space where you can't do anything, just drink the water. Hydration is key, especially when you wake up in the morning. Drink your water, avoid any caffeine, okay? Coffee, tea on an empty stomach. And if you've had a very long, very indulgent weekend or an indulgent festival, I would say for a day or two, just avoid the caffeine, right? But if you can't, it's okay. Just avoid it first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. So you get up, you have your water, and have breakfast. Ideally, have a light breakfast. And when I mean light, I mean not deep fried, not very oily. Okay, so your breakfast should have a lovely balance of carbohydrates, protein, and fiber. So you're thinking, if it's poha, I would say the poha should have some vegetables in it to give you fiber. The poha itself is a simple carb, but there's no protein in this. So add an egg or add some curd, and you have some protein in it. All right. Have a snack at have a mid-morning snack like a fruit. Your lunch, again, make sure there is a vegetable, a carbohydrate like a roti, rice, and a protein. A snack, and then a similar dinner. Now the cheat sheet here is, ideally, make sure that you eat fibrous fruits on these days and very fibrous vegetables. I would even recommend adding my spinach raita twice a day during this time, simply because I would like you to add a probiotic. Now, any fermented food will work, but the easiest one is curd. And if you're not lactose intolerant, I would say go with my spinach raita, because you will find this on my website, because spinach is extremely fibrous. It will help your digestive tract. Okay. Dark leafy greens are absolutely phenomenal for your health. The curd will add your probiotics, and have it at least twice a day. So, 2 meals with a probiotic and dark leafy greens. All right. Two fruits on those days, any fibrous fruits that you can find, which is local. Don't choose them. Avoid the smoothies. Someone asked right in the beginning. Just eat them. All right. And at night, maybe I would like, before any one meal or even as a mid morning snack, have a tablespoon of chia seeds in water. The only reason to avoid chia seeds is if you are on high blood pressure medicines. All right. But apart from that, grab that. This will give you a substantial amount of fiber. It will give you a substantial amount of probiotics, and it will give you a little bit of omega 3 and ALA and DHA, which is really, really good for your stomach and gut health. And with this, make sure that you're drinking enough water. Now, on these days, I want you to try what we call one of our infused waters, which is on some of the programs. So we have different things that happen for different people across different programs, but this is one that we used on our Diwali special program, where we had a post-Diwali sort of specialized diet which reduces bloating and water retention and makes you lose all that. In that, so you take a jug of water, about 1 tablespoon of chia seeds in there, ginger, you can slice it thin and just like pound it, mint, and lime. Lime slices are great. Just make sure that when you cut it, remove the seed before you make the slices, because otherwise your water is going to get really bitter. Put all this in like a nice big jug or a nice big bottle and drink that through the day. All right. So you've got your infused water on that day. You've got two very fibrous fruits. You've got spinach and a probiotic. Curd is a great one, at least 2 times in that day. You just need to do this for 3 to 4 days. What it does is, you're not detoxing. What you're doing is, you will be replenishing gut microbiome, the good kind, which then helps with digestion and helps your body sort of come back to what we call homeostasis. So that basically you come back to ground zero, or to balance. So homeostasis is basically, let's say you have balance and we keep shifting. Homeostasis is the body is always trying to stay in one place. All right. That's as simple as it is. That's your kind of cheat sheet for you. Ideally, I would say keep that to yourself. It's usually on our programs. Now, the things to avoid. Now, we've already spoken about intolerances. Find your intolerance. If you're having difficulty finding your intolerance, just write down your food and symptoms journal, like I told you. Take pictures of it, and you can maybe mail it to me at support@simrunchopra.com in about a week or 2 weeks, when you have enough data, and we can maybe someone can look at it and see if we can find something for you. But I guarantee you'll find it yourself. However, there are some things that are sort of that cause issues, and you can try avoiding them completely, let's say for a week. Now, gluten, that means anything with gluten. You can do a Google search on this, but basically this is not only roti and atta, it is anything made with maida, and even things like upma. So a lot of grains have gluten in it, so you can just run a search for uh, Gluten, just run a search for gluten, you'll get a whole list. Just avoid that. Avoid dairy. Now, some people are not intolerant to curd or yogurt because the structure changes completely when you make it into curd. So you might be lactose intolerant. You might, there are different kinds of proteins and sugars in milk. You might not be intolerant to all of them. All right. So, for example, if you are not intolerant to paneer, where the whey is removed, that means you're okay with the casein protein, but you're not okay with the whey protein. All right. So, write it down. But if you're starting out as a cheat, remove all dairy, even like ghee, all dairy, remove all gluten, remove all nuts. Yes, to start with, because nuts can be inflammatory to most people, which is why you hear of nut allergies. This is where you start with, and then go a week. After a week, add back any one of them. That's it. You have to write your symptoms down and wait for at least 3 days before you add another one in and then another one in to find if you are intolerant to any of these. Okay, so kind of your cheat sheet of finding what you're intolerant to. But if you want to drop bloating immediately, you have a party day after, right? And you want to drop, and you want to drop a little bit of your water weight. Here's a quick cheat for you. It's not permanent, but it's basically to get rid of water retention completely. Let's say you have a, today we are on Saturday. Okay, so let's say it's Wednesday and you have a party on Saturday. This is what we're going to do. Increase your water intake. Make sure it's 3 liters a day. You can do that infused water I just told you. All right. Add in the probiotics again. Make sure you have lots of dark leafy greens. Switch to fruits in your snacks. Okay. And make sure salty food, anything deep fried, and remove this for 3 days. All right. And you will see automatically your body will start flushing out all the extra water it was holding on to. Look much, it'll look very different. Now ideally this is the right way to eat, but you can try it for 3 days and you'll see a complete difference. So if you see that you're going to the loo better, like you have better bowel movements, you don't have swelling and or bloating all the time, you feel good and energetic, means that your body is doing well. All right. I have been talking nonstop for 42 minutes. And now I'm going to quickly go back, look at your questions. And if you have more questions, please put them in the comments now so I can help you with it. Just remember that you have that offer till tonight. Any other questions you have, just go over to nourishwithsim.com. There's a chat button, just put it in there. Um, it is Saturday evening, so I, I try to stay away from my stuff on Sunday. So on Monday, I will get back and answer all your questions for you. There aren't many of you, which is great, right? And if you liked this, do let me know in the chat box because we kept it really small, really close. And if it helped you, that's amazing. Okay. And like always, it's not scripted. And I like to make sure that we cover everybody's things. So I'm quickly going to really read through everything. Um, all right. Difference between weight loss and fat loss. This is in my post. You can head over there. Um, yeah. Food intolerance, PCOS cause bloating. Yes. Irregular periods again. I have a lot of content on my Instagram. Mm, Tanya says, do you provide exercise schedules? Yes, all the programs have exercise schedules in them. Even if you're doing it somewhere else, but so I have levels. So you have a beginner, which is level 1, level 2, level 3. We have them with dumbbells now. We're introducing a lot of new programs. We have quick workouts. The way the programs are developed is that you start off as a beginner and it progressively overloads. It assumes that you don't know anything when you start off and becomes slowly, it teaches you the basics and becomes slowly tougher. And sort of the exercises run parallelly to the diet so that they kind of work together hand in hand to give you a certain the result could if you're looking at reboot, then we have uh, fat loss, we have body recomposition and weight gain. And of course on nourish there is the goal is up to you, but the methods are mine. Yeah. um Now, mm, thank you so much, Bij- Bijoyita. I hope I pronounced that right. uh Shamla says how to utilize the offer. You just click on that link. What do we need to do for sweet cravings? Gayatri, for the sweet cravings, I'm doing a craving series and I will cover a little bit more more on that. Give me 1 second, and I am going to find you that. Do you see the link on top? Somebody else asked me how to use that link. It's pinned here. I'm just copying it again. Basically, you click on this link. When you go to when you go to the checkout page, like you pick whatever program you want, it's applicable on all the programs till midnight tonight. When you go to the checkout page, it will automatically reduce the percentage. Mm, all right, sweet cravings. Maybe later. Sweet cravings is a very, very, very long topic. All right, I think I've covered everything from everyone here. Does anyone have any other questions? Thank you, Gayatri. I definitely would. I would love suggestions on what kind of live sessions you would like, and whether you think that YouTube was better because on Instagram, the idea of doing it here was to make sure that people who are really interested and want value are here. Over on Instagram, where there will be a million people joining in, and it just goes everywhere, right? Um, Thank you, Deepika. I'm so glad. I'm actually not very familiar with YouTube, so I switched it to public in the middle. I'm sorry, but the idea of YouTube was that it stays to a very small group who are really interested rather than me having, um, like a million comments coming up and not knowing where to focus. Mm, all right. So mm, I hope that helped. To reiterate, just remember that everything in your body is connected. Your digestion is connected to the way you eat, what you digest, what you absorb, as well as to your lifestyle and mental health. So, while we covered everything else today, if you feel that you are very stressed, if you are very anxious, if you are not sleeping enough, right, all these contribute to, let's say, your bloating, which is why you see it a lot after festivals as well, because people aren't getting enough sleep. So these are three other sections that you need to look at, which are completely and purely lifestyle related. If it comes to sleep, better sleep management, I'm happy to help you with that. But when it comes to stress, anxiety, or if you feel that you have are depressed in any way, you must reach out to someone for therapy. I don't, even if you're not on my program, if you just write in on WhatsApp, we will send you recommendations for multiple people across the country if you need that help. Yeah, because sometimes it goes beyond just food and it goes into many other things. So don't underestimate the impact that other factors in your life have on your body. If you are stressed, if you're having relationship trouble, all this affects you. So I think it is very important for you to realize that you are so much more and your body reacts to everything around you. And I'm always here to sort of help you through it in any way possible. All right. I hope this helped you. I'm just gonna hang out here for the like 4, 5, 7 minutes. If you have any questions, you're most welcome to ask me. Yeah. Thank you for coming. I would love to ask Deepika, how do you know when someone goes live? I'm not very used to YouTube. Hmm. Okay, so let me know. I'm just gonna wait. And I don't know if YouTube has a like a private confidential sort of way for you to send me something. Mm, I don't know how to maintain. All right, puffy face. Okay, I'm just quickly looking at the votes here. Puffy face, tip joints, swelling. Okay, most people have said or did. Everyone on the poll that said or daily fluctuations, weight fluctuations, I covered that. It's just pure water retention. All right, I'm going to end that poll. Mm, thank you so much, Anshu. How to maintain consistency while trying to lose weight. I don't think of consistency while you're trying to lose weight. Just think of consistency as something you do every single day. How do you go to college every single day? How do you get up and go to work every single day? How did you make sure that you got through college every day? Life gets hard and for everyone. And you might come on social media and see me and see other people and think, oh wow, I wish I had their life. But all of us have our struggles, and just because we don't put it up online doesn't mean it's not there. So it's about finding consistency in everything you do. So I have this sort of motto or value that I live by, which is basically how you do one thing is how you do everything. So it is a transferable skill. If you were consistent with absolutely anything in your life, let's say you were consistent with the way you went to college or the way you did a cooking class, or anything that you're consistent with, even if it's just like brushing your teeth, ask yourself what makes you do that every single day. What is that thing for you that makes you consistent with that, right? And then use the same theory in another space, because nearly all our skills are transferable into different genres. So don't make it think of it as weight loss. Think of it as, what do I usually do that keeps me consistent? How do I apply that same strategy to something else? And in this case, that something else happens to be weight loss, but the strategy is the same. For example, you might have a routine for brushing your teeth. I wake up, go to the bathroom, wash my face, brush my teeth. So there's a step by step process. I know what comes next. Are you someone like that likes systematic reviews or schedules? Then apply that somewhere else. Yeah. So find what works for you. Hmm. Thank you, Deepika. We will be putting in a lot. You've done SPC and I think Reboot. So the new programs have a lot of really, really interesting things. We have quick workouts, and in December we have I'm putting in challenges. And if you're on the app, you have 600. We are at 700 recipes now as well. Thank you so much. Make sure you follow me on Instagram if you are not. Okay. And I will see you there. If you send me a DM, just remember it takes me time to reply. The WhatsApp chat on the website is the easiest and the fastest, right? If someone has just joined in, we are just ending. I don't know how this goes online, but I will try. Yeah. Okay. I'm just checking if there's anyone left. Hmm. Ma'am, I have Gayatri, I'm sorry. Ma'am, I have stomachache, bloating after having curd. I'm not lactose intolerant. What can be the reason? Maybe it doesn't suit you, or maybe there's something wrong with the milk you're making it with. You can one try with something else. You can either remove curd and see if you still have it. And it could be something else in your food. If it is curd, try a different curd. If you still have it, then you just have to remove it and look for another probiotic. Any fermented food will do for you. Yeah, but you have to just don't assume it's only the curd. It could be something else in that meal as well, or it could be that particular milk or that particular curd that you're eating as well, right? Because if it's adulterated, it could be your body just telling you that. All right, then. Thank you so much. I hope this was useful. And I would love to hear your suggestions on different ones in the future as well. You can again drop, just put it in our WhatsApp. You can email us, email me as well, and we will get back to you. Just give me the Sunday off and on Monday. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. It's the first time I am doing this. So thank you. I hope it was useful to you. And Neetu, as you asked, you can just head over. Here's, let me put it back down again. Here is the link. If you want to, till midnight, you have a small token from me, which will expire after that. It's only for the people who came for this. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. Have a great, great, great weekend. Use the cheats. If you forget, no worries. Just send me a WhatsApp, send me a mail, or Instagram. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Have a great weekend. It was such a pleasure. Thank you.